Engineer Jake Morrison had seen plenty of broken machinery in his 15 years working the Outer Rim colonies, but nothing quite like the massive construct sprawled across the Kepler 438b research station's main hangar. The Guardian unit stood 12 feet tall when functional, its sleek metallic form designed by the pacifist Valerian species for planetary defense, though defense for them meant sophisticated energy shields and non-lethal deterrence. The research team had found it buried in ancient ruins, a relic from the Valerians' golden age before they'd gone extinct 3 millennia ago. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the expedition leader, had spent months trying to activate it with her team of xenoarchaeologists, but the Guardian remained stubbornly inert. "The power coupling is completely corroded," Jake muttered, running his scanner over the unit's chest cavity. "And half these neural pathways are severed. Your people were trying to jumpstart a brain-dead patient." The Altarian researchers chittered nervously among themselves. As a species that had never known conflict, they found even deactivated weapons disturbing. To them, Jake was a Deathworlder, someone from a planet so violent that its inhabitants were naturally suited for dangerous work. "Can you repair it?" Dr. Vasquez asked, her voice tight with academic desperation. This Guardian represented the archaeological find of the century. Jake wiped his hands on his coveralls, studying the intricate alien technology. "Give me 3 days." What the research team didn't know was that Jake had learned more than just engineering in the colonies. Growing up on Titan's industrial platforms had taught him to see patterns in chaos, to understand how desperate inventors built systems that had to work or everyone died. The Valerians, despite their peaceful nature, had been master craftsmen. He worked for 72 hours straight, replacing corroded components with improvised alternatives, bridging severed connections with human-designed neural mesh, and slowly coaxing life back into systems that had been dark for millennia. The Guardian's AI core was the real challenge, a quantum consciousness matrix that operated on principles human science barely understood. But Jake had something the original builders hadn't anticipated: intuition born from a lifetime of fixing the unfixable. On the 3rd day, as he connected the final circuit, the Guardian's optical sensors flared to life. The massive head turned slowly, focusing on Jake with an intelligence that made the research team step back in alarm. Designation: Unknown species. The Guardian announced in perfectly translated galactic standard. Scanning. Analysis complete. Species classification: extreme danger. Jake felt his blood run cold. "Whoa there, buddy. I'm the guy who fixed you." Acknowledged. Repair function successful. Species evaluation. Deathworld origin confirmed. The Guardian's voice carried what sounded almost like wonder. Question: why does a species capable of galactic domination choose to repair rather than destroy? The hangar fell silent. Everyone knew humanity's reputation. They were the newcomers who'd survived everything their hellworld had thrown at them, who treated radiation poisoning like a common cold and laughed at gravity that would crush most species. Jake scratched his head. Because you needed fixing? And because it seemed like the right thing to do. The Guardian was quiet for a long moment, its processors clearly working through concepts that didn't fit its original programming. When it spoke again, its voice carried a different tone, softer, almost reverent. Valerian protocol updated. Species classification changed to worthy inheritor. Without warning, the Guardian knelt, placing one massive hand flat on the hangar floor in what could only be described as a bow. This unit pledges service to the death species who chooses creation over destruction. The Valerian legacy is yours to inherit. Jake stared in shock as holographic displays began materializing around the Guardian, showing star maps, technological schematics, and what appeared to be the locations of dozens of other Guardian units scattered across the galaxy. The Valerian archive is now accessible. The Guardian continued. Their knowledge, their weapons, their greatest works, all are yours, Jake Morrison of the Deathworld. Dr. Vasquez was frantically taking readings, her voice barely a whisper. It's not just giving us information, it's transferring ownership of an entire civilization's legacy. Jake looked around at the stunned faces surrounding him, then back at the kneeling Guardian. He just wanted to fix a broken machine. Instead, he'd apparently inherited the technological treasures of a species that had once spanned the galaxy. "Well," he said finally, "this is definitely going in my repair log.